I wasn't there, but the moment this interview started, it felt like I was watching a political comedy show disguised as a Senate reaction. Senator John Kennedy didn't just respond to AOC's presidential ambitions, he turned her entire 2028 fantasy into ash, rebuilt it, and torched it again, just to make sure it never came back. The man showed up with jokes, insults, and enough Southern charm to make the roast feel like a gourmet dish.
Here now with reaction, Louisiana Senator John Kennedy. Senator, thank you so much for joining us. What comes to mind, what comes to the stomach when you think of AOC running for President of the United States of America?
Well, let me address first your question about dark woke. I think the Democrats are trying to appear more manly. Just a thought, but they may want to consider first getting rid of their man purses and their organic broccoli. Dark woke, light woke, mellow yellow woke, it's still woke. And that's the Democrats' problem. If you believe the polls, Jason, most Americans believe that Republicans aren't perfect, but they think the other side's crazy. They think that Democrats, like Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, have chosen to become what my son would call utter nutters. I mean, you think about it, and think about what the Congresswoman stands for. If you're a Democrat in today's Democratic Party, you're not allowed to fire bad employees, to fire bad teachers. You're not allowed to cut wasteful spending. You're not allowed to deport illegal immigrants. You're not allowed to oppose MS-13. You're not allowed to like cops. You're not allowed to prosecute thieves who steal less than $950. You're not allowed to question vaccines. You're not allowed to oppose sex change operations for minors. Or transgender people in women's bathrooms or playing women's sports. You're not allowed to oppose critical race theory in our schools. You're not allowed to oppose reading porn to grade schoolers. You're not allowed to oppose racial quotas. But you are required to use certain pronouns and to believe that men can breastfeed. Now, I don't think I'm being unfair. This is what Democrats and Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez now believe. And a charitable interpretation for this kind of behavior does not exist. And the American people look at it and they just want to jump out of a moving car. And that's why Democrats are polling right up there with scalp psoriasis. In terms of the Congresswoman, look, I encourage her to run. I hope she does run. I understand. I listened to her speech. I understand her slogan is going to be "Change begins with a mustard seed," which I think is interesting. I guess if Governor Pritzker runs, his slogan will be, you can have a tummy and still be yummy. I don't know. I just think with the Congresswoman, if you scratch the surface, you get more surface. I don't think she has the intellectual firepower to run a campaign to be president, but I hope she does.
Kennedy didn't warm up. He swung immediately. The moment the host mentioned Democrats' new dark woke branding, Kennedy smirked like a man who had been waiting all week. He said if Democrats really want to look more manly, maybe step one should be ditching the man purses and organic broccoli. Dark woke, light woke, mellow yellow woke. He said it's all the same. That line alone could have taken out half of Twitter. Then Kennedy broke down what he called the rules of the modern Democratic Party. No firing bad teachers. No prosecuting thieves under $950. No deporting illegal immigrants. No questioning vaccines. But yes, mandatory belief that men can breastfeed. He called them utter nutters, And honestly, at that point, I was expecting confetti to fall from the ceiling. When AOC's name came up, Kennedy lit up like someone just handed him a microphone at a comedy club. He encouraged her to run, not because she's capable, but because watching her campaign crash and burn would be better than the Super Bowl halftime show. Then he joked that her slogan would be, "Change begins with a mustard seed." A mustard seed. That's not a presidential slogan. That's something printed on a throw pillow in a vegan cafe. And then boom, the knockout punch. If you scratch the surface with her, you get more surface. Bruh, AOC got turned into a political pancake. Flat, no depth, zero substance. Kennedy wasn't done. He said straight up that she doesn't have the intellectual firepower to run a real campaign. Translation, her presidential platform would collapse faster than a Jenga tower in a tornado. And when he said he hopes she does run, just for entertainment, I'm telling you, that studio needed a fire extinguisher. Kennedy wrapped things up by turning his fire toward Biden. He said inflation was man-made, and that man was Joe Biden. Families, he said, were gutted like a fish. Then he dropped the lemonade stand line. If Biden ran a lemonade stand, we'd have $14 lemonade and still be out of lemons. That joke alone should win a comedy award. So that's exactly what went down. Kennedy didn't just speak, he unleashed a full-scale roast session. AOC's presidential dreams vaporized, Democrats' dark woke makeover reduced to dust. And Kennedy walked out like a man who just won the heavyweight championship of political roasting. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that subscribe button, drop a comment, and get ready, because more explosive political takedowns are coming your way.